Kisales. Now, one of the things you have to notice that during the first year of the John Dramani Mahama administration, Kufuor Embe Kasai, but then in the week of Niema Ekoso MPP Fua, now Omoya appointees. I'm talking about a year National Signals Bureau, Omo boss Dubuanya Yachino, a year the former Buffer Stock CEO Ayachino, Mustafa Hamid, Amino Kaseno, MPA former CEO, no say Yachino, together with a host of others, Kenufuriata, and Inkofobi Brom Kenkaho, NSS Gift Warero. Before deemed they try say do baby or so cancer. Now, message of the Ababe to Jano, people are really shocked because if you look at it very well, MPP 4 Geomodi, NDC 4 Geomodi, and then even he Kufuor, he believes that even though Mahama has come, Mahama will not be able to solve Ghana's problem. Worst of all, it will be fiscal. Now, you will see exactly what ex-President Kufuor or the Tuja Babaka Yabetwaso.
Mongozu Mompae. Mompae send ye bear. Ye man Ghana no onyame betenani ahweso amai wato ni nhyresu agusu amai man de nyame nkwahyehyɛ pa na nipa yesuban ene ntia ase ehunu yanim yansire nyame sɛ ɔno a odi ne sunsun bɛhyɛ manim no ayi akandifo amamane a sɛ nyame pɛsɛ man ye no onmu de bɛyɛ adwuma mama no esa because Ama assassin bibia. Any pregus no crown, Kaosha and Kamakas and Kenya bad. Nipanie. I can say better politics, nas near in ye. Na good years was assassin, me young be cry. A film puano cocasrim, a puer cocatoeno, Ghana assassin. Babia, by fission. A dear friend gold, Sikako on the bio. And tea, which Africa and Kakraka, and so I can't gold that Ghana and the number one. Eden and Kak be Yabba cream, saying Yamiashi Shamoniamasi Amamo, Nanina Sanamecano. It's their politics necessary. Nebe Yesu, I just said, when Yamacronoa or Kiakuma. They are so dear thing. Nanso mo ya so for ntimu nim satete Israel for saa nyame afa we no nso na so odene no nti ya no atwe won maso kakra sese ane de kodu ba bia no mfisa sando si ya tete Israel saa no ye Ghana fo na enam sa ne maye no nti yesu kakra no agyae nti mesra mo mpa bo mma munya din no nyame onhwe bone ne mum edo de achichire ma no Mamunye MP mine no chain I can defer the abakoyi.
So that was a ex-President Kufuor in some of the two jar. Clearly, you could see that there are a lot of things that I wanna come so our parties will be digana so echo. Wababe yene di echo. But Oshe the number of things any sana niema kwa. Oshe all of these presidents mabe muko after no obaye na ye atamos ebaye after atamos ebaye no. John Dramani Mahama ebeto aso. Ex-President Kufuor so beto aso. But then still na Mahama asa back ama Mahama back no. Ase still na Ghana baby ejina na age. I know patch say adene die Oshe sana niema kwa na kamya kwa the whole thing is actually if anything the whole thing is actually giving a curse vibes and or reference a verse in the Bible na all parts say Osha Bible ni mu a ye Israel for sena na Nyankopon any Israel for tie sa pepepe sena na Nyankopon ni Israel for tie sa na isi Ghana yakoye be kam yakoye sa swodin any ye nemi bi edaye so Enuntiana Osha almost all these years after your friend is saying independence no in penifua bako ebima ba obia ba na asem de na so Ghana be ejina na ejina eches odi abetuja ne say osanso do tuja say ohwe Ghana ukọ etifi na oba anafo bibia obefi bia no ututu ase na gold ewo ho in fact he even made reference say Africa e kakraka na eba ne sense eba ne say na Africa kakraka yi nyina no at the end of the day no just say osha yepe na say gold ni ade nyina ewo ye ha edebe mpa na ekọ so that tells you say Ghana doye Nyankopon doye But at the end of the day, what you are seeing here is simple. You are seeing something na echese Ghana ya so yeding. And these are the words of ex-president Kufuor. You should also know, say, in some of the on social media, especially on Twitter, formerly Twitter, now X, no man for party say you were in power for 8 years. Wow, so and we party efi ufimu ebaye. Omodi Kufuor ebaye. They only came to loot us. And ne Mahama ba oba beye niema sebi NDC MPP for mo ba ya mo say no Mahama is writing it. So instead of him throwing this kind of job, making it seem say Mahama ba now, so nothing is going to change. Why doesn't he shut up and allow Mahama to actually do his job? Because Mahama ba going to 1 year. This like the 11th month. Into at least 1 or 2 years in trim near shad. Now 1 or 2 years you could be trim currently, we can see on authority that things are a bit better as compared to the previous. So in some way, and I hear Ex-Prez Kufuor Ediababe Tuja, definitely there are many reactions to it. Seeing you can a bold voice Emma Wuti. Now you be moving on quickly near call a year the camp of a year Malik Basantili. Over the course of this particular past few days, we've been giving you updates. Malik Basantili, reporter, Abronye, at the bias, by an air party, say, Papano, or Yari serious. Now, further reports, HS, on your accident muno, and it didn't copy UK. And even further, it went on to say, we now stroker, ne found Joe, into your flying UK. The speculations were wild. H3 and NDC phobia ekas and yano crab. But then no can say, even yesterday, crown or release video and Malik Basantili saw that one or be a video car or party and yano crab. Even came to post on his social media handles all these allegations against himself and yano crab or Ghana. And then in the wake of video posting now for so he was in a lying position, ocean or stroke and NDC in peniphobia akonifia just a miniature picture. This is him. You can see say he's very strong, he's very healthy. Video why no HS Malik Basantili otimi gina ho na nensa both of nensa no eye adwuma dia, which means stroke rumors are abronye any NPP phobia propagate enye no kre. Yenko share this particular short video of a year Yenu Abema Basantili, a brand DC phone penny for a call in chain. In fact, you could hear inside say they were referencing the UK thing, the UK saga, which is a video a recent na enye AI generator. The AI a camera quest a town for Ebekulu battery video a babaka. All right, so it's here for we work on this particular voice because in there, Malik Basantili made certain pronouncements. We want to get you the real voice behind this. Now at the end of the day, we see Malik Basantili Ankasa Edituja in the wake of this whole stroke saga. A very, very important. Now at the end of the day, we can lay this whole rumor to bear. Now you're okay, and you're no correct. Papa no send ye niema kon otiase. So if there's anything that will be wa and any concern, perhaps we should start thinking about ourselves. We have another video of this. We believe that this has the voice. Yenshe yeba ebe to us. All right, for MSA system no higher. We are not really getting the one I just a Malik Basantili okay, but then we'll try as much as possible and make sure that we get the video on file. So at the end of the day, you can see any one perhaps or more propagate say Malik Basantili yari serious when you stroke regardless or yari krana. What we can say is that he is now healthy. So Yarikrana, we can see say he is now healthy. So we will try as much as possible and get this. I think say right now we've got the video involved. It's let us put it on the screens now. It's here for young question you in Sema Malik Basantili Ekai because it's very important for us to clear these rumors now. Comments are air bass Malik Basantili nya stroke na video call ye cry no share position no demo chese papa no nya stroke na say NDC phone no person cover ne up now no ababe kasa ojina ho wa reference UK saga no say our Ghana haya, which means say he's strong, he's healthy, even if he's sick right now. Atamfo Niema na omo planning so benya stroke no and be mention this as well video by a better. Ghana UK.
So I'm with Chika here in the UK. Ghana UK. So,
all right, so that was the video your question. I think we need to even go and watch it again. Yes, I'm
in the UK.
Ghana UK.
So I'm with Chika here in the UK.
Ghana UK.
So clearly, we can see for a fact that Malik Basentele is doing very well. So in rumors and na so about Malik Basentele, so when you stroke near the other, we can now vehemently say enya no cre say when you stroke and now yare kra na nyanku punti. Ne ho ayeden ne ho ato. So that is the breaking news about for now we will lay this whole issue to bear. So a news so, and I believe at the end of the day we'll do well to give our people more updates on this particular case, because at the end of the day it is very prudent say you lay this particular whole rumors to bear na obietimi ehu ne left and right. If Malik Basentele now is doing well, it is a very good news. It's about so with in simple for, but once again video way of Malik Basentele. When we come back, we move on to the next app.
So I'm with Chika here in the UK.
Ghana UK.
So I'm with Chika here in the UK.
Ghana UK.
So I'm with Chika here in the UK.
Ghana UK.
So I'm with Chika here in the UK.
Ghana UK.
So I'm with
all right, so it's here for so many say the OSP, the Office of the Special Prosecutor. There's a lot of news if in Hoba. In fact, in another live right here on this particular platform, you see that he has invited Martin Kibu together with TV3 over allegations we are but then OSP being November 18, 2025. OSP have officially charged Ken Ofori-Atta and also about 6 others. Now, the breakdown of things and in Yema and how this particular trial will go together with some of the charge sheets right here on this particular platform. And even what does this even mean in the first place? Because Kisie Jabene Ken Ofori-Atta and Sem Bibria ultimately you could see clearly say there is a lot of things at air cost. So now we share screens no so and now we share the 2 screens no so we share Hasia or say we share top now or say Republic versus Kenneth Ofori-Atta and 7 others. So one more year come in this case say he charge you and 7 others on. So if you make it a bit bigger, we share top now. Republic versus Kenneth Ken Ofori-Atta omuwie so no omasan so ayeden ama omasan so edi case number na atuja. Now on your screens you will see 5 people. What you see on the screens now na 3. But we share dia edi enima baako ye start fi benkuma obi say man no kofi nti onu huta nenim, and a second one here Isaac Crenstel what you say ono so editor. So these people are charged. The account will be Colonel Kojo Damwa retired or also also he's been charged in the OSP, the Ken Ofori-Atta scandal. Now yeba asiena the 2 other people almost can one more picture we Reverend Dr. Amish Adai Owusu Amua and at your dear Trubium Evans Edusei. So these are the people who are basically they've been charged. Now other person or can one and no entity Strategic Mobilization Limited SML. So the whole Ken Ofori-Atta thing, one of the things that you so they are charging on the whole SML scandal. The SML scandal, if you don't know what really happened, in Yane say a Brad GRE Ghana Revenue Authority or more company be bass they will be managing the online and also the fiscal things of GRE because tax niema no SM obeba na we make sure say niema ye kra kwa abruchi niema ye de ba amanfo efa kutikwan bi so omuntua tax no SML na eba abehwehwem aye system a bit magic tax na every month bia no and for the next 5 years no ye be ma strategic mobilization over 1 billion cedis or so into every 5 years we need to 500 million or so Ghana cedis amomo dollars amomo and no and I who say SML they were not doing any job and the SML was a company kind of reactor and we allegedly instigate here to steal and loot the state because the relevance of SML according to them no it was never felt. So these are the 5 human beings I actually together with the company itself a strategic mobilization limited, but then 2 other people are and the the more people like I say and the main pioneers behind this no Kenneth Ofori Atta and Ernest Dakun Akore. But then these 2 people no share their whole screens so what is on the screens no at large, which means say they are not in the country. We are learning say Ken Ofori Atta and Ken Ofori Atta is of knowledge say he is in the United States of America, but then Ernest Akore Dakun we are learning say he's somewhere in Japan and now say Canada and I say Canada and onye na adwen kra say obeba Ghana. So you see no omo no say na yedi kan edi tudwa no ye the at large abomudin so because it is believed say they are run away and as they are trying to evade justice. Now ye be kwa share some of the rates are OSP ediba in terms of how our all charge or any in sema or do to it is a OSP wabodi in our tofa you be reading in and also the way forward. Remember say over the course of this particular past few weeks there's been enormous pressure which has been mounted on the office of the special prosecutor Kisi Ejabin because according to them no otsna ho hansa Emma Kenufuriata Ejanifio menu and one of the people already say Mahama should sack a year Kenufuriata Martin Kibwa or no so no in other news he's been invited. So straight up no yen call the page, the official page of a year Ken Ofori of the OSP near share in Sema OSP edituja because oba sia utimi se court rates na omodi aba no o see the Republic versus 7 others 7 others no emu ba ko no SML which is an entity but 5 ye yansa ka omo ema 2 omuye ndi park and Furiata and NS Akoreda kono they are at last. So let us read this new year yen so as with other updates. O share the whole screen so or say so we will, let us make this bigger. Senebe at the end of the day, more share you can also read along and know exactly what we are talking about right here on this particular platform because this whole SML scandal it is something that ultimately I will say I can't want them and also the fact say about a national concern and I say something of a national concern it should tell you say we all have a stake in it because at the end of the day if these people were able to steal this kind of money I will say who say Ghana there maybe a crony do in somebody's words I say any asem so quickly yen share exactly what really went on. So in reading or say the Republic versus Kenneth Ofori Atta and 7 others, all you need to know. So now the OSP is breaking this down on its official Twitter page. Also, Kenneth Ofori Atta A1. So in the case, Kenneth Ofori Atta is being labeled as A1. And the Minister of Finance at all material times in relation to him. So Kenneth Ofori Atta chese ono and now Minister of Finance in some way a question if I know it's not a first person abono. The second person NS Dakun Akore or he's been labeled as A2 in the court documents or your party or a chef the cabinet of Kenneth Ofori Atta or party second Ofori Atta ni chuchu muchu NS Dakun Akore or no he is at large. Osha has or say NS Dakun Akore who is named A2 in this particular docs was the chef the cabinet of Kenneth Ofori Atta A1 in his capacity as a Minister of Finance at all material times in relation to him. So the third person also he's been named A3. The third person Emmanuel Kofi Inti, who was the Commissioner General of Ghana Revenue Authority at all times in relation to him. So the third person also this support airborne air party and Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority no ye naming A3 here. Ye twaswa we Amishadai Owusu Amwa, who now is being named as A4, and he was the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority at all times at all material times in relation to him. It's in A4 no ye purchase or no sooner or ye Commissioner General of the GRE as at the time case no and a chrono equal so. And he is named as A4 Amishadai Owusu Amwa. And A4 no A5 no Isaac Crystal or no sooner or a commissioner of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority at all times in relation to him. So the A5 person or no or a Ghana Customs Division commissioner Isemna na ekosunya no ono na wo position a ono said na kan one name a ye dia man in relation to this particular document A5. Kojo Damwa ono he is labeled as A6 and he was the commissioner of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority at all material times in relation to him. And so ono so no Emmanuel Kojo Damwa no ono so he's been labeled as A6 and ye say during time anachrony we so na or your Customs Division of the or your Commissioner of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority during the case. And A7 no Evans Edu say or no and now a Chief Executive Officer or sound so a beneficial owner and controlling mind of the SML a Strategic Mobilization Limited or no he is being named as A8 So these are the people I to say this one abom. So A7 no and A Evans Edu say, but the A8 sinana midi kan SML no is being labeled as A8. SML a company from the Strategic Mobilization Limited. Our say it's a A8 is a company registered in Ghana, formerly known as the Strategic Mobilization Enhancement Limited. As you see, an friend SML. It's in here we did now. Or said accused persons conspire to set and did perform acts in furtherance of the conspiracy to set up a criminal enterprise of directly and indirectly influencing the procurement process to obtain unfair advantage of SML for SML A8 in the award of procurement contracts for transaction audit services, external price verification services, measurement audits of downstream petroleum products, upstream petroleum audit services, and minerals audit services reportedly by the government of Ghana acting through the Ministry of Finance and also the Ghana Revenue Authority. And all parties say, in way no so boy dia bomb no party say SML no Strategic Mobilization Limited contract omunya no amount for and omude omunsa share omuskiwi say enya company bi asa company bit mama yiska asa company no dwuma mbedi ne say ombeboa the Ghana Revenue Authorities in their transaction audit services in terms of external price verification processes no SML no so ebeboa. It was made to help them, and also petrol gold for oil near they call any petrol a year gold they call oil no sa difference any revenue any taxes no these people will take charge of all of them, and also petroleum other services. So SML was to take care and take charge of all of them, but according to OSP the SML was just meant to loot the state and steal money. Now so also, the criminal enterprise was commenced in 2007 by Kenneth Ofori Atta A1, Emmanuel Kofi Inti A3, Evans Edusoi A7, and SML A8, with other accused persons joining the adventure at various times. The criminal enterprise was characterized by no genuine need for contracting SML A8 for obligations it purported to perform, and contracts were secured for SML A8 through self-serving patronage, sponsorship, and promotion by Kenneth Ofori Atta, Ernest Darko Akore, Emmanuel Kofi Inti, and also Amishadai Owusu Amwa, and also Isaac Crystal and Kojo Damwa, based on false and unverified claims. To your point, say, sa SML company here, omo de ba yesan komba be boa ama oma boa GRE to medjuma no eyadia na etese nkofu bi no mkwatena ho to loot the state. The tintin itiatia no. Also the contracts were attended by a commission of egregious prohibited acts as mandatory statutory prior approvals by Parliament and Procurement Authority were wantonly disregarded by Kenneth Ofori Atta, Emmanuel Kofi Inti, Amishadai Owusu Amwa, Isaac Crystal, Kojo Damwa, who acted with increased emboldened impunity as they freely abused their public offices by using their offices for private benefit. So, part say SML no, omode bae no, omanfa nkoma parliament kwa ama parliament anye de anhwem ehun se okay, the SML ba be ye no, parliament wetnas ni vote ni akase okay, eya na enye. Esan said that time no more almost majority though, and your muye the almost share na pabam ken of reactor ye force ya ena ye nukukum ema SML contract no ebe ye contractor na sika na ye GR for mutua SML ana contractor omuni omo have ye enkofo bi no mu pushi say sa contract na was say baso na eboa Ghana in reality no na a schema amanfo bi Kufuor na busuanfo omo tena ase to set up the SML to dupe the state and also still whatever was going on. Now, yento asu biem ewa hase. Yento asu biem ewa hase. Ose furthermore, Kenneth Oforiatta, Emmanuel Inti, Amisha Dai, Isaac Crystal ensured that there was no established financial management system of the monitoring and verification to assure that the Republic was obtaining the value for money it was paying to SML, and the channels of payment for funds to SML were set on automatic mode by Kenneth Oforiatta, Kofi Inti, Amisha Dai Owusu Amwa, Isaac Crystal, and Kojo Damwa, detached from actual performance and based on false and unverified claims in woeful oppressive injury to the public. Inti, according to OSP, no parties again, no, Sanko for 7 years together with SML company, no, which was led by Kenneth Oforiatta, or the company had to automatic payments every 5 years. We are a bit sure for $500 million. Ejuma be no mo ye omusu omu boa GRA, but then oman specify say ejuma we no mo ye and ejuma no mo ye eboa the state or not, and also no ejuma na no mo ye no, there was no your friend is saying Bibia na edaho a yebitimi scrutinize and I report a chest okay SML ye ABCD SML ade na omo ye en abanfa so ama GRA for losses and also omo making losses no inti SML omo na omo boa ama sash losses no embebium. There's nothing to verify say SML boa GRA or not. Ena Kenneth Oforiatta lead ena omode SML ato automatic payment every 5 years be etu omo ejuma be no mo ya yenim ena ye de nema be bra to was SML base ben reality no omo nyehwe omo ade omo the SML ato contract so contracts no they are just taking money without doing any better thing for the state. A crime scene and I say a criminal as Uncle Fukui oma bomwa omoye as at the end of the day ebo states no eka. Yentu as the actions of Kenneth Oforiatta A1, Emmanuel Kofi Inti, Amisha Dai, Owusu Amwa, Isaac Crystal, and Kojo Damwa created the opportunity for SML A8 to largely pretend to perform the services under the various contracts, leading to the immense financial loss to the public of over 1,436,249,828 cedis, 53 pesos. It's according to a year OSP or party say contractor na SML4 Kenneth Oforiatta party say and omba be ye aboa the states no enti sa contract ni nyina te say bia penas obi ama me contract say o anope bia me woro ne car ma no anope bia me mpra ne fie ni ma no anope bia me nto na tade ma no contract am ni nipa nako nipa ne say obetua me $500 million, but then sa contract na me ni nipa nako no obi ena one obi na akwatena aka se edebe nye bitima ya de enye sika efi papa we ho ene ne nko contract ne creative bi se obe ABC di ama na wa ma wiska. In reality no me roka bia, in reality me prefie, in reality no me nto atade ye de ma to contract so automatic ene creative bi as me ye bibi na then the days ya ma miska. Akwa se the NSS scandal no anase ye di obi ato NSS people onye hwe nanso yetua ne sika sa pepepe and this whole NSS scandal no and according to Office of the Special Prosecutor no kanka criminal thing at the end of the day no a crime scene obviously at the end of the day nkofokoi basically to loot the state and that me no ka say no ye the sankofo we nyina akokọ se na on the screen so senior di kan di two jano sema akoswa in fact some of them kra wote kra na oye masho say nti nipa timi di boni say ane ye ka cho say Ghana na be before no ye very greedy ye ka mo ntia say onya opportunity a na omu nyina nipa ne de ne mwanwa kra Mustafa Hamid time na MPP opposition or get press conference I'll say let's save our country let's it's what THL say akwawe okuta kwa mi kuma spirit na so nya opportunity one spare cra na OSP publish a friend is saying the hotels any name oni no oji say Ghana ya quit ya kechi. This book just came to loot the state but then regardless no we believe and hope that the OSP knows exactly what he's doing, and at the end of the day we believe that the case will go to actually help, and it will go a long way in a way say a bit favor na states no you really this particular case. For yen twaso na the camp of John Dramani Mahama. Now you realize that one of the things His Excellency John Dramani Mahama they campaigned on before Oba to power, championed by Sam George, the anti-LGBT bill. Now previously the anti-LGBT bill was sent to Parliament, but then the majority then they refused to pass it. Okay, I say maybe Krano, the former Vice President of America, Kamala Harris, or Ghana. And during a press conference, American journalists be a question. Ex-Prez Kufuor said, Akufo-Addo, your country and parliamentarians are saying they want to pass an anti-LGBT bill. Would you do that? So it's a private members bill, and we've not done it. We are not going to do it. I mean, it's just a bill. No one will mind. Why Kamala Harris as a president or the papa before Bekonia wire $100 million Ghana. So clearly, Akufo-Addo during that time, they were in a tight position. Clearly, they couldn't do exactly what people wanted, and a minority then NDC no more pushes almost signing anti-LGBT bill. But then Mahama abapa, but then this particular anti-LGBT bill no untin home popoye. In fact, the last time crime before erase the motion say pass you could see say NDC for no boom no more treat. And the shocking thing in all of this is Sam George, who was once the pioneer and champion of the whole anti-LGBT bill no yantinenka. Debbie. Yebisa now saying it is their case. Yebisa this whole anti-LGBT bill, what I saw it's MPP's case. You see there some job in your position. Ama say you ni refi a bra na say adia no opusi. Mahama aba break his silence na who on the screen go show video. I say forgive me, this is not what he said though. But Mahama abe break his silence Mahama party said this whole anti-LGBT bill course no the bar or best sign in somebody to do by better us.
We before I became president had indicated that we were going to take the fight against corruption to a whole new level, and it's not anything personal against anybody. I have said several times that our problem in the fight against corruption is that it is always post-regime corruption that we fight. And so when a government is in office, when scandals are taking place, they don't deal with them. And so they leave it until a new government comes. And when that government comes and starts investigating the cases of corruption, then the previous government says, oh, you are witch hunting us. This is political persecution. But I've said notice to my ministers, ask them every day in cabinet, I remind them. I say the prosecutions that we're taking against the current government will be ties the first person who brings a scandal.
Okay, so we want to apologize for this particular video because it is not what we actually intended. So we'll move on to then other update. So Minuka say His Excellency John Dramani Mahama or the strict warning about the man appointees. Now he's actually done well within the first 11 months of his administration. But one thing one narrative especially on TV and on radio say Mahama said he's one of the first presidents in the first 1 year on the scandal. Ex-Prez Kufuor and Jerry John Rawlings brought back so 1992 now. The first year muna winning elections 1992. The next year 1993 in the 1 year the scandal on your first scandal. he obi no military ruler or transition or be a civilian president on Ukrainian scandal. Ye ba fast track to Kufuor within the first 1 year 2001 oba ba mu no onu sunya scandal. Ye ba Atamosa nya scandal. Mahama previously no ono so take it out on nya scandal. Kufuor do obeto so no so ono so first 1 year on nya scandal. But nipa see our back the second thing. And how about for within 1 year unya scandal no John Dramani Mahama. Now Mahama didn't seem be about to just say, woe besides any of my appointees who brings the first scandal to my administration, they will be hanged on the cross. So Mahama is saying himself, wouldn't need not first scandal it won't ever point to say what they ba you be used as a scapegoat na omo be asia omu corruption na ombefa kwan foforo. Yenhwe video of what John Dramani Mahama said when he had a meeting with the Christian Council and that or this ansem we to jai baba ka ebeto aso.
We before I became president had indicated that we were going to take the fight against corruption to a whole new level, and it's not anything personal against anybody. I have said several times that our problem in the fight against corruption is that it is always post-regime corruption that we fight. And so when a government is in office, when scandals are taking place, they don't deal with them. And so they leave it until a new government comes. And when that government comes and starts investigating the cases of corruption, then the previous government says, oh, you are witch hunting us. This is political persecution. But I've said notice to my ministers, ask them every day in cabinet, I remind them. I say the prosecutions that we're taking against the current government will betides the first person who brings a scandal to this government. We shall hang them on a cross. And you follow our Lord Jesus Christ, that you cannot resurrect again.
So that was His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in Sema Odituja. Now quickly, you're moving on to Abena Osei Asare. Now Abena Osei Asare, she's been actually Ojini Dimpa Oshe a year recently in Sema Akwaso our public account committee. She's sparring with the DVLE boss, with other members, and then Wababe a beacon for fighting corruption. Meanwhile, she was the deputy of Ken Oforiatta. So she's basically a no person in regards to someone who is fighting corruption. But regardless, we raise a submission on Parliament and as on the floor of Parliament, which is actually going viral. Now in Semben and Dεad Tuja, in Sema Dεad Tuja ni simple. Or Pacha say yehu se galamsey kanka. It was said Mahama administration ye create a mechanism you be fighting galamsey with all our resources. But man a top priority. But the question is, this was a lady who was in power just 1 year ago, and 8 years for that matter. What did she do? You show video of in somebody to your parliament and cover a baba.
Minister said it threatens our survival. So, Mr. Speaker, if something threatens your survival, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to fight it to make sure you survive. And how can you fight it when, with a ministry of 2.1 billion budget, you only give the agency to fight it 150 million Ghana cedis, Mr. Speaker. 150 million Ghana cedis out of the 2.1 billion budget given to the Ministry of Lands and Forestry. Mr. Speaker, when I compare it to the total budget, when you take out your compensation and you compare it to the total budget, 150 million, you compare it to the total budget, the contribution is 0.003%. 0.003%, Mr. Speaker. So how can you say that it goes beyond economics and it threatens our survival? If you put such an amount in there, are you telling Ghanaians that you are fighting it, or you are just putting out words and playing with Ghanaians? Mr. Speaker, like I said, the galamsey issue also has to do with jobs. And so we were thinking that beyond that, government was going to put some monies into the alternative livelihoods so that you can take them off the galamsey and find some jobs for them to do. Mr. Speaker, in this same budget, you look at the monies that were allocated to the alternative livelihoods, just 35 million Ghana cedis. Just 1% of the 2.1 billion Ghana cedis under Ministry of Lands and Forestry. Now, Mr. Speaker, we all know, the minister has also quoted, that this threatens our survival. Our major rivers are recording very high turbidity levels, and which is far above the WHO guidelines for safe drinking water. Our rivers are polluted and they are poisoned. Mr. Speaker, the media reports that there's rising stillbirths, there's increased cancer and chronic diseases, farmlands rendered sterile, and fish stocks shrinking and malformed. Mr. Speaker, and so if you say that it threatens our survival, I don't expect you to put 0.003% of the total budget into something that threatens your survival. Mr. Speaker, the Galamsey menace is a war. If it's a war, then this budget, Mr. Speaker, this budget is telling us that it's like we are in a battlefield with plastic chairs instead of armors to fight and make sure we win this. Because if you send 150, which is 7% of the total budget of the Ministry of Lands and Forestry, and 0.003%, then clearly it is not a matter of survival. It is just a matter of words. Words, fluffy words that don't have any meaning. But Mr. Speaker, we need to rise above that. This is hurting us. This is killing us. This is poisoning our food. And so we need to do something more than that. I expect that before we approve this budget and pass appropriation, the minister would have amended the monies given to fight Galamsey and also to improve on the alternative livelihoods of people who are wind of Galamsey. That is when you can tell me that this is really threatening our survival, and so you're doing something about it. But Mr. Speaker, all said and done, I believe that we should have a Galamsey emergency program with real financing. Because even Mr. Speaker, let me quote one thing that President Mahama said on the 3rd of October 2025. He said that Ghana needs a substantially bigger budget than what is currently available if the country is to win the fight against illegal mining. This was on 3rd of October. The budget was taken to cabinet. President Mahama got the opportunity to view the budget, and he knew how much was going to be used to fight Galamsey. Because of what he said, that we need a substantially bigger budget, I was expecting that he advises the minister to put in more than he has put in the budget for Galamsey. So, Mr. Speaker, I am asking, I'm proposing, and I believe that it is the wish, it is the heart desire of our citizens out there that we come up with a Galamsey emergency program with real financing, so that, Mr. Speaker.
So that was a year Madam Abina was sorry. Meanwhile, she was in power 1 year ago. Meanwhile, she was the former deputy finance minister. In fact, Kenneth Furata and the deputy Onini. At the point in time, Kenneth Furata or yet both the finance minister or yet both a year. Your friend is saying the trade minister Abra Lanchemantin resign. The deputy ni when to me allocate ska. I'm fighting Galamsey. Trash. Anyways, you better also with a year in some fofro. Menoka say Malik Basantele, more news is coming about him. Now, it come our update says stroking and simbin nema. But now no Malik Basantele reports on Nakasabe Tro on the Facebook. So Kolongoli Toli no cre Kolongoli Toli yes we nya stroke near the other no cre near the other. Ama HC cry na or video trend as no only obi video call me before say hey office Jimmy won what da ho na video call half of your body is paralyzed na ho tonsa page na ehu. And people are saying it's not part of their business anyways, but people were believing this was true. And then me can say no in peniphobi akobo epi Malik Basantele fee. Ama who say oh indeed he's indeed in Ghana. And aside from that, one of the things you also learned in this particular thing is he actually spoke about the UK issue. Now, amount for baby ababa reacted, but before then, you share the video involved. Ya babaka ya betu aso.
So I'm with Chika here in the UK. Ghana UK. So I'm with Chika here in the UK. Ghana, UK. So I'm with Chika here in the UK. Ghana, UK.
So that was Malik Basentelia who timu so no cross say hey UK ame wo no edu new but wo hwe surrounding near dia who timi say Ghana because womo ekọ ne nchen say omko sa no mo ye Ghana for it is a krum ha no mo wa clearly though this rumor has been laid to bear, which is definitely a good news. So your friends abronye odi kind the rumors ne ba yesu sum say twitwe no abronye yesi enye no crew we providing evidence, which means we will say next time no yakoye research but then me no ka say no obi aba react to this or part say ade a MPP4 air plot na omo pai ne say stroke ene niema and starting ku MPP NDC4 na part say ade a nkofo bi hihye na omususu ye embe me hwe video e baba ka beto
abusanfo ene de moma mekwan na mini atam kakra nepe ene twoma mini atam bio na MPP4 mumu bia jimisa like jimmy ne too much o ena Malik yare ena Malik bewu ena wanya stroke ena Malik empire body nyina empire bo obi empire bo obi kura se Malik bewu yi de 2028 ba omi abawini ja mwajimi and ya Maliki mutan papa. But you know what, unfortunately my friend dance aboka Malik no ho din se kronkron nyago panda romanti Malik no ho din se tractor tie no mo be wunam Malik tiase. I'm doing this video because a lot of people are worried. A lot of people are in my DM asking how it's Malik Basintali or Matiso Yaren and Akurebe in the womb. It's like a lot of people are worried. Until I make a video and come in for your more MPP4. You understand? Jabushan for what it is and some no abontain and Malik is forget it. I am one of those MPP what do you call it? Mom forget your Omuni Jumadi. Mo party na tetia pansam no mo hwe kwa chechire. Na udi za mo sauce ni aburonye. Almost sauce ni abronye na breaky sa news no. Na uti o mo reasons a o say na say ete Malik nkanche. Nti uti obi nkanche na je so yare. Must you always be in the media? Must he always be in the media? Aro. Yeah, my main na.
Okay, to one more time a year your friend is saying 5k men 3k women and omutiate and all party say a party as you see our source abronye de any amu problem obete mate Malik Basantele yes why UK hey mo source ni pass an MPP party dia any Charlie muhia deliverance regardless no a year Felix Ofosuku actually happened to be the communications or presidency communications or the insane Biababe Tuja or the powerful message and I was also contributed to the recent budget year past year and then some of the Ababe Tuja as always people are saying that this guy is a gem. Why that man vice presidential position be a video Baba Kebe to us.
Very well. It's now the turn of Honorable Felix Kwachi Ofosu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on the presentation of the 2026 budget statement and economic policy of President John Dramani Mahama. Mr. Speaker, let me start by commending highly the Finance Minister for presenting what, by every account, is an inspiring budget that sets us on the path to rapid economic recovery and socio-economic development. Mr. Speaker, before I delve into specifics in the budget, there is a need to correct some misimpressions that were created in the course of the contributions by our friends on the other side. Mr. Speaker, they have sought to contest the absolutely indubitable fact that the economy that they superintended was in shambles. Mr. Speaker, that the economy we inherited from them was in shambles is a matter of public record. It is not debatable. As has often been said, Mr. Speaker, economic analysis is carried out on the basis of specific indices. There are metrics. There are things you use to measure economic performance, which are not subject to interpretation or opinion. Mr. Speaker, the economy they handed over to us was one that was in the throes of deep economic default. For the first time in the history of Ghana, a government defaulted on our debts. Mr. Speaker, for the first time in the history of Ghana, our credit ratings was at junk status. In local parlance, we call it Bola. In Ura, that was the state of our ratings. Mr. Speaker, the currency, the Ghana cedi, suffered a catastrophic collapse under the watch of our colleagues on the other side. By the time they left office, you could buy the dollar for 17 cedis in some forest bureaus in Ghana. This is not a disputable fact. Mr. Speaker, inflation at a point reached 54%, hyperinflation. You went to the market in the morning to buy an item at one price, only to return in the afternoon to find that the price had gone up. By the time they left, it was at 23%, which was exceptionally high for an economy like ours. Mr. Speaker, when they went into the IMF program, albeit in an ambulance, they committed to leaving a primary surplus of 0.5% at the end of the 2024 financial year. Mr. Speaker, we came into government and discovered that far from leaving a surplus of 0.5%, they had in fact done a primary balance of negative 3.5%. Mr. Speaker, the budget deficit was hovering around 5.7%. So there is absolutely no doubt that the economy that we inherited was in shambles and that it had been mismanaged. Our public debt had reached levels that made it impossible for them to repay. Mr. Speaker, they gave 1.3 million Ghanaian bondholders excruciating haircuts that plunged them into severe economic hardships. This is not in dispute. So it is settled beyond debate that the economy was in shambles under them. Mr. Speaker, the next issue that is not up for debate is that there has been a remarkable turnaround in the fortunes of the Ghanaian economy. The same indices that I recited, Mr. Speaker, when you look at them under us, you see remarkable recovery. Mr. Speaker, contrary to the junk status of our credit ratings, today we have come back to B-. Mr. Speaker, today, the Ghana cedi on the interbank market sells at 10.9 Ghana cedis. That's what the Bank of Ghana has reported. Even on the Forest Bureau, or at the Forest Bureau, it hovers between 11 to 11.5 cedis. Under them, it was 17 cedis. Mr. Speaker, inflation is at 8%, and the minister has given indication that they expect it to reach 6.5% by the end of this year. Mr. Speaker, the primary balance, and the reason why I stress the primary balance, is that they made it the main anchor of the IMF program. In other words, it was the most important indicator for them. They chose it. Mr. Speaker, from the negative 3.5% primary balance, the Minister of Finance set a target of a surplus of 1.5%. Mr. Speaker, he went 0.1 better and achieved 1.6% by the third quarter of this year, which has never happened in recent memory. Mr. Speaker, today, Ghanaians are seeing relief from the economic management of the John Dramani Mahama administration. Because we have been able to control the cedi, or I beg your pardon, the exchange rates. For 10 consecutive times, the price of fuel has dropped. Mr. Speaker, there is record before the Economic Committee of this House that up to 4,500 different items saw price reductions because of the appreciation of the Ghana cedi. And this is relief brought to the pockets of the people of Ghana. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, the transport companies will tell you that since government began to engage them about a decade ago in the fixing of transport prices twice a year, it is under this government that the single biggest reduction in transport fares has occurred of 15%. Yeah. And that is because fuel prices, which is a key determinant of transport fares, has reduced substantially. That is also not in debate. Mr. Speaker, even as I go on to correct some misimpressions, my respected friend, Dr. Gideon Boako, sought to assail the fiscal consolidation measures of the finance minister. He decried the effort of the finance minister to hold the line and ensure that the same fiscal indiscipline which led us to the crisis that the superintendent does not recur. He accuses the minister of excessive fiscal consolidation. Mr. Speaker, all that the minister has done is that he has adjusted his expenditure patterns to meet unexpected shortfalls in revenue. It is common knowledge, Mr. Speaker, that if for some reason your revenue sources suffer a hit, you adjust your expenditure. It is because they were unable to do that for 3 consecutive years under them, we recorded double-digit deficits. When revenue suffered under them, they decided to spend more. But this finance minister says no. We must turn away from that kind of reckless expenditure. So if you check page 18 of the budget, at paragraph 112, the minister makes the point that revenue underperformed by about 4.7%. That meant that the projections he had made had come short. And therefore, there was a need to change strategy to ensure that we do not overspend. So he also adjusted expenditure and cut goods and services, which is discretionary, whilst ensuring that important disbursements to statutory funds are met. Mr. Speaker, I, by virtue of being MP for Abra Sebu Kwamankese, as is the case for all my colleagues, am an ex-official member of the Abra Sebu Kwamankese District Assembly. So I know that this government has done a yeoman's job in terms of spending in the right places. Mr. Speaker, the whole of last year, the AAK District Assembly received only 298,000 Ghana cedis in common funds. 298,000 Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, by the middle of this year, the same assembly had received 6.5 million Ghana cedis in common fund disbursements. Because of that, as I speak to you, the AAK District Assembly has almost completed 8 different projects, which they could not do the whole of last year. So it is not true that this finance minister is not spending. He is spending in the right places. Mr. Speaker, for the first time, the National Health Insurance Scheme reports that they have a healthy balance in their accounts, unlike the past, when a minuscule of what was due them was reimbursed by government. Mr. Speaker, today, we do not hear.
Ashafo inti isan some way and a fellow so for sukwache editor so. In da updates be a buyer na a viral video be an trend on social media. So share ya be say papi bi I say or a landlord na all book ne. Now in fact video didn't mean show her because of YouTube form policy. But then unye video ni be share especially on Twitter. Be say woman no and I bono no the wife involved not or you naked. Yes no on share she it is a work compound no so papa we ya ni picture betri papa we ona yese oye landlord or sounds you kunu to woman na all bona okuta lastic na tenants bi a na otifie onu twa ya akese uti voice na background or say every day this goes on every day beating why into try no post here em so the tuni status is then and a call viral me no ka say Ghana police for abechi papa we na picture e ba ye na e party say woman na ye tabu no enye onu de yesi budwane fifie ho but then papa na obu woman onu ya chi no na papa ne busuanfo mienu ni nua ba ko ne nua ba ma ba ko omo so yeso omo ya accomplice a video ni ba out no omo ko attack eye tenant na opposite video na me no ka say the police omo akwache eye papa no ama me no ka say papa no ama menoka sa papa no ya china edi friend no edi nyina ba betuja but then yenkoti a vivid report of how this thing came about because menoka say a lot of people have reacted to this including the gender ministry together with the Ghana police yeah they updating na be brenti yenkoshe this particular video involved of this particular report here by betu
no awo bo ne yere ne yasimotumi ache no
Pacho enwa enimwe principal Epafana.
Oh, okay. And you remember time, Ben?
Remember 9 o'clock more.
9 p.m. Wow, my video name them one.
Oh, you video no in tem kaka be e
okay.
But you no na say the photo form. Na ye baby o me be e action.
Okay. Enti enura na muhu video na enura na nso na mutu anamo amonya na chi ni
passion
my ade na mukọ no wo hye he
ye kwa genya uwosie
efie ho na baby a wo bo maami
passion
maami ne ye ne de yin
passion ne yire
a woni ne tie woni ne wo ma
passion ne wo mba
enkwala no wo fie ho bi
emra ya kwache omune die ya fi hu kwala yenu
okay
passion
pacho owura ne ye friend ni saying
ye friend John Odatelampe ba mantem ho no edi onkofo di ye ni eje
mantem ben ya Accra
ha wo fanko
I see. Na pacho motumi ne na kasa se wo se ne yiri na ye de enti na wa bona dagya kwatere kwa e de mfe anso asi ni so nane ne saa no.
Eyesa nkomodi geni de ebekoso nyame boa anope esan emona ya papa na ya papa no so no ye principal ni efi ho e ko no ene esenya anti ye se tenant bi o fi ho oh mususu say onuna ultra video no John Odatelampe yinia bema your friend Louise Odatelampe eni ni aba so your friend Grace Kufuor eko fi ho sen komoko tunihuna eraba mususu say ultra ta video ma ne ko viral no nti na say police for san omachisa popa sa tenanti ebo ne ho ban na yesa se John Odatelampe nua ba nua ba me
oh enti Odatelampe nua ba Grace Kufuor ene ne bra no so se friend say Louise Odatelampe no so omo so enu amo che wo mo
mpacho an
enti omo wo hin sesi a
mo na amo wo police custody a na pay ye de o meba atoto o mano na information bia ho bia fi de mama so mo asa
okay na mpacho Grace ene Louise omo so omo ti fie ho bi omo hu se papa ne ebo ne yere no
amun ni fie ho amun si fie ho pat ni pa de mo hu se ya ka be fa ni nya no na ema omo bae nti se omo nim se ekoto da ne de e bia ye tutu mu na ichire ebede edi ama ye hu ne se
na ne yiri no wo mfie sai mutumi ne kasae
there be emra ye ko fi ho no so na ne yiri no edwane efifi ho nti yankoto ne yiri no
wadwane anase na busuafo abefa na wokogye ayarehwe se de abu ni de me ka so okogye ayarehwe because ebi kura ne honam beye ne ya ne ade
enu ye ne kwemu ba ye ko fi ho ne de ya nto no nti sisi a ye protocol any da ho a amope information wo bebe bia ebia owo any bebe bia wakakose na ya kwakwafa no abone ho ban
okay Okay. Enti anopai what's next? Sedian na mube yama yenya more details kakra. Sedian panti na bankata chia ware ne na pacho uti mumusa ha ne de ba mo de maso toto fom a ware ma me nfie be yese ni.
No me actually me master information.
Ba mantam wo no mo so o matena ho be yemfie se no de mantam wo no.
Sure, I knew a more fear or much now actually.
Okay.
A more fear.
I see. Enti everywhere na mo be ma yenya more details kakra se we dey a bit sketchy.
Pacho I think me say no ya no pay. Omo na ye de mbeba na ya beje omani mo nsem. Enti information bia ibenya bia so ye be ma nsem for us.
Moje anu nsem ni wi abrebe na mo brofo no mo be renew mo before court.
Ebetini aba ene ya possible say ebetini arrange omo for court. This na message information bia ba fe ko ehun information bia so ye be mind sense for us to actually.
Okay. We no police nkwa na ya na say mo ni gender ministry akansi ani fi say ase aye fise mo nso o domestic violence abemu wo hoyi oba no ne bambo nsem
senior wonim ne wo domestic violence and victim support unit.
Okay.
Police service man and no na address and semi so and you know ye be handle case no amawo and there be a gender ministry so involved now. Me did say obi a ibihia no amata atewi yetni aka kosi ate afaka no ye be fro ye be di adwenche if you want.
Chief Inspector no pay ye da se pa ye mamumo nso ni adwuma ye da mutimu no ase se nra wo mo ho ye ha.
Ye da se pa se wa ma ye kwan so amaye ababeka se no kosi
yeah. Chief Inspector Bridget Babanao PRO Emma CID and
Actually, for following issue where there's been a lot of a press release. Ghana Police for a confirm say indeed no papa no ya channel together with various agencies like the Ghana Police and others are more pies papa no in this particular viral video no he has been arrested. First of all, ebedi can share the police report here and also what they are saying according to the Ghana Police or more pies the suspects no our video no they proceeded to arrest him and then subsequently we are learning say at the end of the day issues pia no or metimi are resolved. Vampire said they've arrested other 3 people they believe that these 3 people no omo ya accomplice just a woman na ya boni de bia of no omo ka into quickly na share a report coming from the Ghana Police on this particular subject matter na just say ni entwa so into share no any other 2 screens no so no as you can see, and this is coming from the Ghana Police Service or say police arrest suspect in viral video on domestic violence. It will share dates now 18th November 2025, which is today. Also, the Criminal Investigative Department (CID) of the Ghana Police Service have arrested a man captured in a viral Facebook video physically assaulting a woman believed to be his wife at their residence at Ofanko in the Ghana East municipality. In the past, papa na video no ya chelo na papa no he believes say nipa na ordinance ake kano no na yere papa no one ne yere nyina omoti Ghana East municipality. Na yensan so entwa so ewa ha say the suspect identified as John Odathi Lamte was arrested on Monday, November 17, 2025 at the family residence in Neda and a police for Mutu and Amonko Papa Nebushi in Fiomko Channel 3. Following his arrest, 2 of his siblings, Grace Kushi Lamte and Louise Odathi Lamte, who attempted to attack a female tenant they suspected of recording and circulating the video, were also arrested, and the tenant was rescued to ensure her safety. It's basically near a party say tenant or record your posty video no. If you are for me, you know, your margin say come back to ashes tenant no my BB because video na circulate no, you could see clearly say tenants no on na nsa wait here and as the voice wait here pass the bia yebu woman yi adenti na landlord obeye sa it no the busuanfo mienu papa ya yachi ni no the busuanfo mienu omari so gbakọ attack tenant na o leak this particular video no sa nkofo mienu so no yachi omo police for omo protect tenants no. 4. Efforts are underway to locate and ensure safety of the wife who had fled the scene before the police arrived. Tiba say oba na ye bono no menoka say no police for your margin say ombe hwehwe oyere no na omo make sure at the end of the day no ye be make sure bibia oda no kama. 5. The Ghana Police Service remains committed to protecting victims of domestic violence and ensuring that perpetrators face the full rigor of the law. In the part say Ghana Police for a party say at the end of the day, no, they are making sure say obi biara involved in this kind of acts, no, you betcha no. Obi biara say ye boy or ban Ghana Police for be protect. So, but then you know in simple the Ministry of Gender and Children and Social Protection almost one day omanu ababe tunse to share a press release almost one day ban that or say Ministry of Gender and Children Social Protection condemns assault on a woman in a viral video. Don't pass say the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection almost so video chat bontin so no omini engine ho cry they are condemning it. Also the Ministry of Gender, Children Protection mock CSP has taken notice of a disturbing video circulating on social media in which a man reported to be a landlord is seen violently assaulting a woman allegedly or alleged to be his wife. The ministry wishes to state that no individual has the right to subject another person to any form of abuse under the circumstances. We strongly condemn this barbaric act in its strongest forms. The act infringes on the victim's rights and is highly punishable by law. Nti ministry ne part the video twegu mbonte so ayebu woman no dia omobonjo so na obi biara se oye oba bema whatever no obiara any kwan so betene nsa ewo so. The minister has also reached out to the Ghana Police Service to ensure that a thorough investigation is conducted and justice is served. We also encourage eyewitness with vital information to assist law enforcement agencies immediately. In the past, the ministry, omo reach out to police say they should make sure say nipa na odi sa abone ni action which ye can report say action and also the investigation ebekoso ama yehu bomo a omo tisa de we hu a ekoso omo nkasa eba ne se na papa no onya asa akukudru na obo ne yire all this while eba ne san fa wo hwe video ne nyan enye YouTube policy anka me post video na ma we hu fa oba ne hwe hwe o not form ne ye bono konfo cry bonne sa e so sad yento aso or say domestic and sexual-based violence is a national concern, and therefore we urge the public to report such incidents as soon as possible. We reaffirm our commitment to collaborate with all relevant stakeholders in ensuring that perpetrators of domestic violence face the full rigors of the law. The ministry urges the public to always remain vigilant and report all cases of any form of abuse through domestic violence call center and number and as a report to the nearest police station. So now they are saying, I was saying making sure so you better together near fight it. You see something, you say something, I'll be report it because a idea ultimate no sa and as a ultimate if you be a brand new panama a sexual abuse, a sexual violence, also a domestic violence. Obi biara ye who say oh yes I di becho inti almost the public obi say all hands on deck in na. So this is exactly what is really going on. I mean okay say fear ani the ding to say abo and ya cheno ni nuanu mienu am kwa attack tenant so ba kuni ya cheno. It here for them be see about more updates as all of these various events unfold.